Call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before Amy reads the open public meeting statement, I'm not going to ask Inspector Pelt to come up, and I'm sure everyone's aware we have exits to our right and exits to our left. So your left and your right should an emergency happen. Amy, open public meeting statement.
Adequate notice of this meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Roxbury was given as required by the Open Public Meetings Act as follows. On December 31st, 2025, notice was emailed and faxed to the Daily Record, the North Star Ledger, the West Morris Reporter, published in the Daily Record. Notice should also remain posted throughout the year on the bulletin board in the main hallway of the municipal building.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilwoman Albrecht. Here. Councilman Carey.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Crowley.
Here.
Councilman DiFilippo.
Here.
Councilman Hall.
Here.
Councilman Riley.
Here.
Mayor Patillo.
Here. Thank you, Amy. Good evening, everyone. Roxbury Township continues to stand firmly opposed to the federal processing facility proposed under former Secretary Kristi Noem for the reasons clearly outlined in Resolution 2026-029. These include its inappropriate placement within a residential area, significant water and sewer capacity limitations, environmental impact, and the immediate loss of critical tax revenue to our community. As many of you are aware, the state of New Jersey, in partnership with Roxbury Township, has filed suit against the federal government to challenge the proposed conversion of a warehouse at 1879 Route 46 into an ICE detention facility. Our township attorney, Mr. Bucco, will coordinate on behalf of Roxbury, while the New Jersey State Attorney General's office leads this litigation. We are grateful to the governor and the Attorney General for their partnership. Their involvement ensures that Roxbury taxpayers are not solely burdened with the financial responsibility of this legal action. This support is critical as council remains focused on protecting our residents and our resources. Mr. Bucco, is there an update, anything you'd like to discuss at this point in time?
Well, as you stated, Mayor, on Friday, March 20th, 2026, the township, in cooperation and together with the state of New Jersey, filed a complaint entitled State of New Jersey and Township of Roxbury versus U.S. Immigrations and Custom Enforcement, the United States Department of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem and Todd Lyons, Director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement. That complaint was filed in the Federal District Court on Friday the 20th. Under the complaint, the state and the township have allegations in there of violations that the U.S. government violated the Administrative Procedures Act under the National Environmental Policy Act, including the Intergovernmental and Cooperations Act and the Immigration and Nationality Act, including an action for arbitrary and capricious actions and failure to consider state and local concerns. That complaint has been filed. A briefing schedule has not been issued yet by the court, but at some point in time we will get a litigation schedule from the court. Our office has provided information directly to the Attorney General's office in order for this litigation to commence. Much of the work that we have done over the last 2 months through experts that the township has retained has been provided to the Attorney General's office and served for the joint drafting of this complaint. At this point, in consultation with the Attorney General's office, I recommended to you and to the council that the Attorney General's office assume the lead case. And that is because they have not only the resources, but direct access to the Department of Environmental Protection, and quite frankly, a lot of experience in litigating in the federal district court. In my office, my partner, Jim Bryce, who is my litigation partner, will coordinate with the Attorney General's office. We will work cooperatively together under a cooperation agreement that was signed between the parties. We've had already communications with the Department of Justice. I'm not going to say where that ended up, but the parties are in communications with each other. As you know, over the last few months, because of the township's position as a municipality, we have been reserved in communicating exactly what was transpiring and what we were doing. That was to protect not only the township, but the township's interests, and to protect the litigation strategy. At this point, now that this is an active litigation, that communications will be even less, unfortunately. But that's the way that it has to be. The Attorney General's office has requested that, and quite frankly, it is what I've been saying now for a number of months. This is not a situation where you communicate key facts and issues that can be reported by the press that could impact our abilities for success in this case. So that's where we stand at this point.
Thank you, Mr. Bucco. Moving on. As of today, no application or permit requests have been filed with Roxbury Township. No plans have been submitted. No additional information has been provided by the Department of Homeland Security. We do continue to communicate with the Office of Senator Andy Kim. I would like to thank Senator Kim for his continued commitment to Roxbury and for standing with us in opposition to this facility for the same reasons we have consistently raised. We welcome the opportunity to host both Senator Kim and newly confirmed Secretary of Homeland Security Senator Mullen here in Roxbury so that they may see firsthand the proposed location and better understand the significant impact this project would have on our residents, infrastructure, and environment. We remain hopeful that the Secretary will honor his commitment to meet with us in the near future. Finally, I want to thank the residents of Roxbury, along with the staff and professional partners, for your continued support, patience, and professionalism. Your engagement and dedication to our community do not go unnoticed. The Council remains unwavering in its commitment to the safety, protection, and the best interest of Roxbury Township. Moving on, presentations, award, etc. There are none. Item 5, approval of minutes.
I'll move the approval of all.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Just one.
Mayor, as everybody, I went through this entire list, and, there's a tremendous amount of work that was put in by Amy to put in subsets of comments, in the appropriate way for everybody in the public, so, just a shout out to Amy, for the efforts.
Thank you, Councilman Hall. That's absolutely appropriate. Thank you so much, Amy, for the time. We know every week how much time you put into this, and we appreciate it, so thank you. All right. You moved them, right?
Yes.
All right. Roll call?
Councilwoman Albrecht. Yes. Councilman Carey.
I abstained from January 27th, March the 10th, and February 17th, but all others, yes.
Deputy Mayor Crowley.
Yes.
Councilman DeFilippo.
Yes, on all except for February 17th, February 24th.
Councilman Hall.
Yes on all.
Councilor Riley.
Yes, on all.
Mayor Patillo.
I abstain on February 10th and March 3rd, yes to the 27th of January, 17th and 24th of February, 10th of March, 17th of March. Thank you. This brings us to our first public portion. I'd ask that anyone in the audience that has comments, concerns, questions specific to township business, please come up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and please maintain 3 minutes. Seeing none, close public. This brings us to reports, council liaison, representative, council committee, and new and old business. I'd like to start off with, all right, I'd like to start off by commending our Roxbury Police Department for another fantastic job. Yesterday at approximately 3:58 p.m., law enforcement received a report of a bank robbery at the Bank of America located in Denville. An investigation determined that a male suspect fled with approximately $6,000, noting no weapon was displayed during that incident. The suspect's vehicle was later observed traveling on Route 10 in Roxbury, where officers from the Roxbury Police Department and the New Jersey State Police conducted a motor vehicle stop and took the driver into custody without incident, recovering evidence and the alleged stolen money from the vehicle, and charged the suspect with 1 count of second-degree robbery. We would like to recognize the coordination efforts of Lieutenant Gaffey, Sergeant Barbera, Detective Sergeant Marciano, Corporal Del Turco, Patrolman Rumez, Patrolman Triever, and Patrolman Giraldo for their prompt and professional response, working in close collaboration with the State Police and Denville Police Department. Their actions led to a safe and efficient apprehension of the suspect, the recovery of evidence, and the protection of the public without incident. So, Chief, thank you so much for just having a just a few things. We had the Chamber of Commerce hosted a mayor's breakfast last week that I attended with several other mayors from our area. It's always nice to be able to talk to the business owners and talk through issues with them and have conversations with them. So I'd like to thank the Chamber of Commerce for holding that annually. I also had the opportunity to go to Mary Hart and celebrate Mary D'Angelo's 103rd birthday. Is right. That's quite the life, and she was still very active, very spry, and had quite the character on her. So it was nice to be able to celebrate that. We also had a Lake Opakon mayor's meeting last week. A couple of keynotes that came out of that. Harvesting on the lake starts on May 15th. That's where they take the weeds out. That's an all-season situation there, and there'll be 2 crews, one in the north, one in the south. So they think that this year they'll be able to go a little faster, a little smoother. Jefferson sewer update. Up in Jefferson, they were awarded a federal grant to start their sewer project there that will also help support the health of the lake. Army Corps is still working on that, moving forward to get that project underway. Here in Roxbury, in the landing channel area, they're still looking for funding to dredge the landing channel and then repurpose that sediment into the bird island there, which is a very unique situation that's not typically done in fresh water. So it'd be a great case study, and they're very positive that that money will be awarded. Anyone with a boat, the Lake Opakon Foundation, they run a shrink wrap recycling program every year, for 3 years now, very successful. That will open up to any residents on May 2nd, and they can drop off any shrink wrap from their boat up at the Jefferson Health Center. And that's all I have for that. And then last thing, I was able to attend PAC 159 Gold Arrow of Light ceremony this past weekend. I just want to congratulate Colt Walton and Tristan Morgan for achieving that Arrow of Light match. So, good job.
I have nothing tonight, Mayor.
I took everything. Councilwoman Albrecht?
I'd also like to thank our police department for another outstanding job that they completed with nobody harmed. Excellent. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Hall?
I'm so glad glad they yielded time, because I have a few things I gotta say. So, I finally had the opportunity to go to a Devils game this year, and I'm sitting at the Devils game. It's between the second and the third period, and they had that big jumbotron. And who pops up right in the middle of that but Carl Ronco and his wife Christine. Carl obviously was a veteran along with his wife, a Vietnam veteran, and they call it, what do they call it? Heroes Amongst Us. So there it was on the big screen, Carl getting recognized in front of God only knows how many people were at that game that night. It was completely packed. But big congratulations out for Carl. This people up, he was also honored at the library, right?
Thank you, Councilman Paul. He did win the Ron P. Philippus Community Service Award this year for the library's deal. The terrific guy, Carl Ronco, a former judge in Roxbury and Rotary Club member.
I should mention around. Carl was a judge for, Jim, how many years? At least 15 years?
Oh, more than that.
So,
Probably not quite 30. Yeah, that's like 30 years.
yeah. So really nice to see a Roxbury resident get this recognition. So a lot of shout outs. First of all, I'm going to ask one of our other councilmen here to follow up on some of these for the school board. But every year they have this event in Township called Rockston, and it's probably one of the greatest events you could ever imagine. It's an all-night affair. It involves collecting as much money as possible, and all the money is donated for pediatric cancer. And it's my understanding that they raised over $140,000 this year. So.
$1,000 at the actual event, $148,572.31.
It's a really big number, and you hear a lot of things about the school systems. It doesn't get any better than this. They really put out all their efforts in order to help children that have these needs. It's a wonderful thing. Also, our girls won a 4x400 meter relay at the Morris County Relay Championships. We have a collection. I got to talk to the mayor about this, of people that we need to recognize in the near future for their accomplishments. So congratulations to our girls. Mr. Carey, did I miss anybody else that at the schools that needed recognition? Tom, do you have anybody else?
There was a female basketball athlete senior who scored 1,000 points for her career at the high school. Gianna, I'm sorry, I'm
Capriglione.
trying to blank at her last name.
Capriglione.
We have a wrestler coming third.
Luke Stanich.
Right, we have a wrestler coming third.
Yeah, for those people who don't know Luke, Luke is a national hero here in Roxbury. He won the world championships in his division recently. Yeah, for the under 20 division. I mean, the world championship under 20 in his weight class. So we had a big get together for him, and it was really nice. He had won the state title, I believe, twice here at Atlantic City before going to college. Then in college he was outstanding, and then he went to that, won that, and I guess third place, guys. Is that what you heard?
For this year's institute.
And as I recall, there was only six students that have made the 1,000-point mark.
So big shout out to Luke. This Saturday is our annual Easter egg hunt at Horseshoe Lake. Shout out to the lacrosse team who's going to fill all our eggs for us in the April lacrosse team. Thank you also. A bunch of us are on this 250th committee, and big shout out to Steve's here, Roxbury Rotary, for getting us the canisters. We're going to be burying these in each one of the schools, and I guess we'll resurrect them in 50 years, Mayor? Is that the time frame?
Each elementary school will bury one for 50 years and open it 300th anniversary.
So So big thanks to Roxbury Rotary, they took care of all of it for us, and it's very well, much appreciated. We have our April 18th, we have our stream water cleanup at Black River Park. Every year we get out there, it truly amazes me. You figure we do it 1 year and it would stay for a couple of years, and it never does. So we're going to clean that up. So this is an environmental commission event. So if anybody wants to come out, please join me. On April 22nd, it's Earth Day. On Earth Day, what we do is, if you go to the Horseshoe Lake facility, we have a 3-tree giveaway. So only 2 per Roxbury resident. And the trees, usually we have about 400 to 600 of them. They usually go in about an hour and a half. So this is for a significant replanting effort. It's a big event in Roxbury, and that's on April the 22nd. On the 28th is the township community cleanup effort. So if you want to get involved with that, contact David. Our work on a forestry plan has begun. So, we're hoping to get that done as soon as possible. And recently we asked the town manager to check for grants related to obtaining money for one of our reports that needs to be done on rare and endangered species. So that's something that we're going to try to get some grant money for. So with all that, I will say that's it, and thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Riley?
Had several committee meetings planned for COA and master plan. Nothing to get into at this time. I was going to bring up the Roxton as well. My granddaughter participated in it, and it was, it's fantastic. We had the gentleman in that started it. Mike Godfrey. And he did a fantastic job setting this up, and he really wanted the kids to take it over. And he's really just an advisor at this point in the stage. So it is the high school that are running this program. So it's great to see them be so successful and they're learning so much from that program. So I thank the schools and Mr. Godfrey and the high schoolers that are involved in it. I have nothing else on that. Let's see.
Thank you. Councilman DiFilippo?
Thank you, Mayor. Just very quickly, last Saturday, the library did cut the ribbon on its new digital kiosk, so you can transact business now in all hours. But it's just one of a number of substantial improvements I think you're going to see in the next few months. New carpeting in the children's library, the teen library. So looking forward to that. Great things happening over the library. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Carey?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, the Board of Education had their meeting yesterday, and we mentioned quite a bit of of what went on. The only thing that I want to piggyback on is through in Roxbury actually impacted 5 families in Roxbury this time around. So it's a big deal, and this was the highest amount ever raised.
Excellent.
The other thing was the proposed budget, which is going to increase by $70.3 million. Yeah. Tax increase gradable going from 1.36% to 1.934%.
This is proposed, right?
Proposed. The increase amounts to, if you were to do a $500,000 assessed value home, would increase about $492 a year. And that's all I had.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Manager? Mr. Rucco? Thank you. This moves us to item 8, matters requested, referred, council members, managers, attorneys, and clerk. A, budget guidance.
Okay, Mayor and Council, yes, first thing, love the old Roxton. Interesting, right into this community, having a daughter who's a junior at Penn State. Marathon for 3 years, and hard on that, they raised budget guidance. Obviously, we've had a reduction of our township MAT by $62 million, which translated to a reduction in revenue, an unknown fiscal impact as we close the trust facility. Staff has finished our budget presentations. We've given last week a high level outlook. I would just say, I think, the next Tuesday's budget meeting, we'll get kind of finalized direction. Hopefully from all of you, I've provided you with capital budgets, different scenarios, look forward to the conversation.
Yeah, I can see a 6 in there.
It's fine.
I have been reviewing it, and I think it was just this week.
Fully expected. That's why we gave you items to talk about.
Anybody else?
I think we're closing in. I don't know about the rest of the council, but I know a lot of work has gone into this. A lot of our council part, the staff part, looking forward to.
Thank you. Item 9, introduction of proposed ordinances, 06-26, an ordinance amending the revised general ordinance of the Township of Roxbury and the procedure for a disabled veteran tax exemption. Second reading on April 14th. Do I have a motion?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilwoman Albrecht.
Yes.
Councilman Carey.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Crowley.
Yes.
Councilman DiFilippo.
Yes.
Councilman Hall.
Yes.
Councilman Riley.
Yes.
Mayor Patillo.
Yes. Item 10, hearing and adoption of ordinances on second reading, 05-26. Capital ordinance of the Township of Roxbury in the County of Morris, New Jersey, authorizing funds for the replacement of a police vehicle, appropriating therefore the sum of $51,800, and providing that such sum so appropriated from the Township's capital reserve account. A motion to open the public?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? Does anybody in the public wish to be heard on this ordinance and this ordinance alone? Please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Seeing none? Second? All in favor? Motion to adopt?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Albrecht.
Yes.
Councilman Carey.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Crowley.
Yes.
Councilman DiFilippo.
Yes.
Councilman Hall.
Yes.
Councilman Riley.
Yes.
Mayor Patillo.
Yes. Item 11, introduction and adoption of resolutions.
Mayor, if I may move, 2026-071 to include 2026-072 and 2026-084.
No second?
Second.
I'll second. All right, this brings us to discussion. I just wanted to call out one resolution, 2026-076, a resolution authorizing acceptance of gifts for the snowstorm on January 25th, 2026. I'm gonna ask the DPW to stand up. They're the ones that receive these gifts, and it's just another great example of what our community does here in Roxbury, led by the Rotary Club. Just another outstanding situation.
Want me to read all resolutions?
Say
All right.
nice things, whatever.
Paul, tell the story, tell the impact.
All right. So as you all know, major snowstorm in this area. DPW runs into the issue where, diners are closed, all the grocery stores are closed, and our staff, me doing it for many years, there's no place to grab a bite to eat and take a break. There's 7-Elevens open for coffee, but as far as food, not really great food. So, through a social media post leading up, the weather alert leading up to the January 25th, 26th snowstorm, predicted major snowstorm, winds, a foot plus of snow. So through social media, there was someone that saw a post from Randolph Township organizing a drop-off for food for DPW.
someone got a hold of it, put it on Facebook, and Roxbury Rotary, Steve Alford in particular, started running with this, and myself, Kellyanne Keys, who's our recycling coordinator, we're in a loop. Steve sent out a lot of things to his Rotary members, and also there was a post going out to get the residents involved. So we organized, I agreed I would go to DPW that Saturday, the 22nd of January, I believe it was, to accept whatever may be dropped off for our DPW guys. Well, we started taking things that, refreshments, soda, whatever anybody brought, we were appreciative of. So 1 o'clock we started on Saturday, 1 to 3. Now, well, let me tell you, there was an outpouring of things that came in. I'm going to read the groups and families from Roxbury who donated, and there was also some donations. After 3 o'clock, the recycling center's open until 4, and folks were still coming in, residents were still coming in, dropping off for this effort. So Roxbury Rotary was the catalyst of this. I'd like to thank Steve and all his members. Also donating refreshments were Short Hills Country Club, Roxbury Women's Club, Roxbury Diner, Valley Pharmacy, Kingtown Pilot and Gas, New Jersey Martial Arts Academy, the Batona family, Walsh family, Apgar family, Collins family, May family, Palmieri family, Landis family, Forestaro family, Mann's family, Tomaselli family, and also a big thanks to all the families who donated to the recycling center. So it was a tremendous effort. We have roughly about 30 DPW drivers. The amount of food that was dropped off, we had cold sandwiches were dropped off, chips, pretzels, you name it, we had it. So I can tell you, the guys at DPW were very thankful and appreciative of everything that was dropped off. And I believe we had 19 events this year. This is probably middle of the pack. Everything that was dropped off that day lasted them through the rest of the winter season.
That's cool.
So,
That's cool.
on behalf of all DPW, all the workers at DPW, thank you very much, and they're very appreciative. One more small group. So myself, I was there accepting all these generous donations. Kellyanne Keys, who's our recycling coordinator, she helped as well. And I'd also like to thank Councilwoman Albrecht, who was there for a while. Mary Axelson. All right, Val, don't shoot me. Val Lemagorsi.
You're close enough.
Okay. And Lynette DeLisa. Thank you very much for helping me on that day. There were many things that came in, and I appreciate all your help that day. And again, thank you for everything that was donated for DPW. Much appreciated.
I'd like to just say a couple things. When are you speaking to this thing? I heard his voice great. What? Steve Alford, Roxbury Rotary Club, 216 Eland Avenue. Sorry, I'm a little thrown off. The bodyguard is just rocking my world. The whole world. I just wanted to say, Roxbury Rotary Club is priding itself in trying to touch every part of our community. I look in front of me, there's 5 Rotarians. I have a Rotarian to my right, Rotarian to my left. My president's right here. The Val, whatever name you said, is in back. We have a great DPW here, and you have a lot of snow coming. To know that you're going to be able to get out and go to the ShopRite within 2 hours, not like all the lunatics that go the day before. That's what we have here. But that was a very organic thing. Our Rotarian Jackie Albrecht saw the Randolph Post, sent it to me. Hey, let's do something cool. I don't know if we can even repeat that ever again. Very organic. Once the word got out, people were trying to donate money, everything. We should do this for everybody. So it was really cool, and we have a great town, and I appreciate the thanks, and you guys rocked, and you were very, very happy to do it.
Thank you very much.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Councilwoman Albrecht. Yes. Councilman Terry.
Yes.
Mayor Crowley. Councilman Dupont. Councilman Hall.
Yes.
Councilman Riley. Mayor Paluso.
Yes. Brings us to personnel change, there are none. communications for March 20th, 2026. Any discussion? Seeing none, moving on. This brings us to our second public portion. Does anybody in the public wish to be heard on any topic? Please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Please remember to maintain 3 minutes and 1 per person.
Next week, budget meeting canceled.
No.
Hi, Suzanne Roxbury, King Road and Landing. First of all, I'd like to thank Councilwoman Jackie Albrecht for her Women's History Month proclamation given during the last general session, which she delivered with authenticity. It was deeply felt by all. Thank you, Jackie. I commend this council for finally recognizing that stopping the ICE detention center requires lead counsel outside of Bucco. However, I am quite disappointed that his office is still involved, as I believe we do need truly independent counsel. His double dipping has been short on results, especially since today's ledger for January and February legal services shows a whopping 30 grand of taxpayer money spent on his sole contribution, an 11th hour phone call to the New Jersey AG. I'm not sure, but that might be the most expensive phone call this town has ever made. In stark contrast, through grassroots organizations, volunteers donated thousands of free hours to provide legal service, host federal legislators in New Jersey, and lobby in Washington, D.C. Far from just standing around with signs, we've launched massive hands-on democracy campaigns to build strategic alliances and gain support across the community, federal, state, and local governments. We did this because we believe in human rights, and we did this to help Roxbury, all while balancing full-time careers, being caregivers, or enjoying our well-earned retirement. Since this council won't acknowledge their influence and contributions, I will. Thank you to all of the volunteers. Roxbury owes you a debt of gratitude. For this council, general improvements are needed. As a senior director with over 25 years in the tech management and operations, I'd like to provide some vital lessons learned for this council that I have observed during the initial stages of this fight against ICE Detention Center. Advocacy and courage. Accomplished leaders show up and fight for their team, even when it's difficult. I attended the Lake Apacon Commission meeting where Mayor Patillo and Deputy Mayor Crowley sat in silence while the community members advocated for Roxbury. If you won't use your voice for us, why are you on this council? Empathy. Qualified leaders possess empathy. Councilman DiFilippo, we have consistently witnessed your smirking and visible annoyance while people share horrific experiences from ICE detainees. Your blatant lack of humanity is appalling. Active listening. Effective leaders don't assume they're the smartest person in the room. They listen objectively to all viewpoints. This council doesn't just fail at active listening, it barely listens at all. Councilman Riley, I have no helpful suggestions for you. Your MAGA pro-ICE views and those of your silent majority are simply vile. You support the desecration of our Constitution and human rights violations that are drenched in white nationalism. You are beyond help. Stakeholder engagement. The ultimate takeaways are transparency and communications. As equal stakeholders, Roxbury citizens deserve bi-directional communication, not a council who ignores questions and refuses to engage in discussion. I am formally requesting a nonpartisan Block ICE Roxbury task force composed of community members and council representatives that will engage equally with the members of this community.
Good evening, David Foote, Lower Berkshire Valley, Roxbury Township. I would like to thank everybody in front of me today for working with the state government in bringing this lawsuit against DHS, challenging the conversion of this warehouse into an ICE concentration camp. This is a real step that puts a meaningful roadblock in front of DHS, and I am so grateful that all of you had the courage to stand up and fight for what is right. I'd like to recap. I was watching the announcement that Governor Sherrill made, and I want to recap 7 issues with this facility that she brought up in her announcement. So she said that the conversion of this facility will strain water resources, depleting groundwater and wells for residents, and limiting the ability of emergency responders to fight fire. Number 2, the facility will strain sewer resources, producing 15 times the site's approved wastewater capacity and impacting the drinking water supply for 70% of the residents of New Jersey. Number 3, the facility will disrupt road infrastructure, vastly increasing traffic at a dangerous interchange between routes 46 and 80. Number 4, the facility will divert critical Roxbury emergency resources. Number 5, the facility will displace potential housing. Number 6, the facility will disrupt the economic growth in Roxbury by removing a warehouse that is key to the logistics industry. And number 7, this facility violates zoning and building codes that any other property owner would have to abide by. While I personally would have liked to hear her focus a bit more on the unlawful detention and inhumane conditions inside that facility were it to be converted, I think this is a great list. And I also noticed as I was listening to this that there's really nothing new in this list at all. I have heard all of those sentiments be expressed over and over again by the community members who attend these town council meetings. Senator Bucco made a comment earlier today about the need for secrecy when discussing ongoing litigation, and I suppose that's probably true. But from my perspective, what I am able to hear and am party to, all of these avenues of resistance that I just described came from the people standing behind me and not in front of me, from the community members. And this lawsuit has proved to me that grassroots community action works. So we're going to continue to fight and resist DHS as long as they meddle in the affairs of Roxbury, and I hope that you'll continue to join us as we do. Thank you again.
Yeah, hello, I'm David Roderick, retired attorney who lives in Rockaway Township. I want to follow up the other gentleman's comments and say that we're very pleased, we being those of us who are opposing this facility, we're very pleased that the township has joined in litigation with the state attorney general, so that's a major step forward. Two particular points. As a lawyer, a retired lawyer, I know where to find the complaint, and when I heard it was filed, I went right to the website and I filed it, and I downloaded it and read it, but I'm thinking your average citizen here doesn't know how to do that. So I would urge you to post the complaint on the new tab on the Roxbury website so that everybody can read it, because I think it's very important that everybody be educated. And secondly, a particular part of the complaint really caught my eye. And it says, since the defendant's purchase of the property, the township has conducted a traffic study to assess the impact to the surrounding areas of operating the warehouse as a detention processing facility. The traffic study estimates that the use of the Roxbury warehouse as a detention processing facility would add approximately 479 new trips to and from the facility during the peak morning hour, and approximately 422 new trips during the peak afternoon hour. Again, I think that traffic study is very, very important, and I think it should be posted on your website so that both your citizens and other people who are involved in this project have free access to it. Thank you.
Guy Citron, Tewksbury Township. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, council members, State Senator. Coming to you guys as a friend and a neighbor. And I just wanted to strongly urge you and the town to try to do more. And, I say that in total gratitude of what you have accomplished thus far. And I want to kind of make that case just as briefly as I can for why you should do more. I also watched the press briefing, I guess that was Friday, and I'm still not a lawyer, so I apologize for not, having all that straight. But I thought I heard the AG say something to the effect of, and I think she was questioned by a reporter, what would you like to see the town do? And, again, lawyers being kind of on the secret, how they talk, I get that, I understand that. She kind of answered it without answering it. And I thought that was intentional, and I thought that left a door open meaning like, yeah, go ahead, do more. And we've already talked about what happened in Social Georgia. They, as you know, you mentioned, is the same with what we're seeing here. They did not get adequate permits, and down there, the town council decided to just go ahead and shut off whatever they were not entitled to. I would strongly recommend something like that because, you know, I'll try to say this as fast as I can. I've completely lost the plot on what ICE does for us. You talked about our chief of police. You talked about our clerk. Last week we saw all the good work that the fire department is doing, and tonight we heard about DPW, and it's like, these are very obvious examples of good public service. It's self-evident. These people serve the community, and we're happy to pay for that service in our tax dollars. I think it was today, one of the what's the Walmart family? The Waltons? Is the Walton one of the Walton family members? I'll end here, sorry. One of the Walton family members purchased an entire front page ad. These are billionaires. These are people very clicked up, very, very with the power, you know? Front page of the New York Times today said, I demand, Mr. Walton demands the release of the 70% of people who are currently detained in facilities who we can't even say have committed any sort of a crime, let alone a heinous crime. So again, thank you. Honorable Mayor, you see us doing everything we can. We're out here putting our faces and voices to what could be a politically difficult thing. And I respect what you're doing. Please, I believe as like the chief of police, as like the fire brigade, as like the DPW, as like the clerk, you can be a real hero here. You can do more. Please, thank you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Marissa D'Ambrosi and I live in Fort Morris. I would like to start by saying I'm very glad to hear that Roxbury has now joined the state in a lawsuit against the ICE facility. But while that matters, I want to be honest, I don't believe that would have happened if we were not here week after week speaking out, showing up, and in Senator Bucco's words, participating in what he called political theater. Let me be clear, this is not political theater. This is our community. This is our future. And it is deeply frustrating to hear Senator Bucco dismiss the voices of residents while claiming to represent us, because if he truly represented Roxbury, he would be listening to the overwhelming number of people who have come here again and again to say we do not want ICE in detention centers in our town. But it's not just him. Sitting here, many of us have noticed the way that the men on this council, including the mayor, seem to be completely tapped out, while people are speaking about serious issues, looking down disgusted, and even laughing or smirking while residents are pouring their hearts out. This is not leadership, this is not respect. We are standing here talking about real people, real harm, and the future of our town, and it deserves your full attention. The truth is, a lawsuit is not a guarantee. It is not ensuring that this facility won't come here. So the question is, what's next? What are you and what is Senator Bucco going to do to make sure that this does not come our town and become our reality? Because we are not going anywhere. We will continue to show up, we will continue to speak out, and we will continue to demand that the people that we represented and we elected to represent our town are actually doing something for us. We are not political theater. We are concerned citizens of this town. And it's time that we are treated like it. Thank you.
Sierra Wilson, Bud Lake. I had a question first. I meant to bring this up at the last meeting, however, public was closed without warning. On the budget, I believe it was page 25 and page 26, Senator Bucco was listed as a legal service with $80K a year as the budget for him. But then on the very next page, it said $18K a month. I don't think that quite makes sense to me, so I'm hoping either that can be explained or brought up in another meeting. But 12 is what, like 260, it's been a long time since I took a math class, okay? $214,000 a year, so I don't, what is the difference there?
Yeah, I don't have that in front of me.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, appreciate that. The next point I wanted to make is thank you for joining the lawsuit. However, more thanks belongs to the people behind me than the people in front of me. The people behind me, regular people that take time out of their jobs, out of their families, out of whatever they're doing on Tuesday nights at 7:30 p.m., they are the reason that this lawsuit is in place. They are the reason that this has gotten national attention. These people are out protesting all of the time. They're writing postcards to voters, to local, state, and federal officials. They were the ones that proposed ordinances and moratoriums. They brought the notice of the issue through social media, national news, and personal engagement to residents, to people that may not have known about this. They've been to every single town council meeting, which unfortunately, and I understand why, is more than I can say for people on this town council now. They have called Mikey Sherrill, they have called the DEP, they have sat on wait lists for Tom Kane Jr. and other state reps, and they have brought up legal notices and were assistance in writing this lawsuit. So thank you to the Sussex Visibility Brigade, and thank you to Project Ninja, and thank you to all of the people behind me that come here every single week to oppose this facility. Thank you.
Hello, Brady Green from Montague. I wrote this a few weeks ago and then I wasn't able to come. I don't know if you recall, Mayor Patillo, there was a public comment section, I think it was 2 weeks ago now, where you laughed during one of the public comments and you stated you weren't laughing at the current speaker. You chose not to clarify.
I'll clarify that right now.
Okay,
Like
sure, absolutely.
I will always laugh racism off.
Racism?
She did. She so confidently misidentified me, I laughed it off.
Okay.
I will always do that because that's what I'm taught to do. People want to be ignorant like that and make comments like that, I will teach my family to laugh it off. We all move together as family.
It's very interesting that you would interpret her comments as racism when she is an immigrant activist. It's honestly, it is
All-white
very,
city
it is a
council is
very.
what she said. So she so
Okay.
confidently misidentified me, but I laughed it off.
Okay, if that's what you believe in, an immigrants'
That's
rights
for the recording.
activist. Yeah, I have the whole thing recorded.
Then you know what I'm saying.
She is not being racist. It's very interesting that you say that. Okay. In either case, mocking the public is completely inappropriate and reflects very poorly on your character as a person, not just a council member. I bet you thought that because they were part of this organizing movement, it was especially funny. This is probably the worst part about sitting before this council. You don't give a single flying fudge muffin. I'm following decorum, don't worry, about the people in this room. You very obviously don't respect us. Neither does Deputy Mayor Crowley, Councilman DeFilippo, or Councilman Perry. But if we were to take your accomplishments and compare it to ours, who do you think that Roxbury would feel is actually standing up for them? Here's kind of a summary of all the actions that we've taken to date. It's actually not comprehensive because I didn't get to finish writing this. So we notified you of the leak that gave us the official address and the time of day of the site visit so that you guys could be there present for it. We've attended council meetings after council meetings all the way since the beginning of January. We've organized protests both large and small here and in other towns. We created a website and an information landing page about everything going on, which contains way more than the tab on your website. We have weekly updates about council meetings. You took a long time to post the minutes, but that's okay, I understand. It's a lot. Drafted 2 ordinances referencing Roxbury's master plan and legal codes. That takes a lot of research and a lot of work, and it's from actual lawyers and attorneys. They did submit a lot of it. They submitted it to you, they submitted it to the AG, they submitted it to the DP, which we've also been in contact with. The Senator Kim, Senator Booker, all of the other Congress people, we've been meeting with them regularly. We made contact with all of them.
We discovered the conservation easement on the property, provided the case law supporting the moratorium and the zoning amendment that Senator Bucco failed to find. He didn't present it. We presented the case law that supports it, and yet you guys still didn't pass it. Sparta passed it, but Roxbury didn't. So I'm gonna mention some of the organizations. We have NJ Appleseed, we have Cosecha, we have Pax Christi, we have Wind of the Spirit, we've got American Friends Service Committee, we've got the DSA in North Jersey. They have all been doing this together.
Can we wrap it up in 3 minutes, please?
And it's really just frustrating to hear you recognize
Thank you.
everybody but us.
So short. Bonnie Rosenthal, Ramba. First of all, I just want to acknowledge, Jackie, thank you for your Women's History Month proclamation last week, and thank you to all the women here, yourself, especially being the only woman on an almost all-male council, as well as to the women in here who do everything you do to work, to take care of people and what have you. Number two, I told you guys if you ended this, we would stop coming, but you haven't ended this. So, I also want to acknowledge the fact that tonight, Mayor, you talked about the Roxbury folks. You're forgetting about all the folks who are within the same exact distance as areas of Roxbury. So for me being in Randolph, I may be in the same exact distance as somebody else who's in a different area of Roxbury. It's a team, and hopefully ultimately when we shut this place down, it will be a full team. Next item, I think a lot of people here are probably members of BJ's or Costco and all, and if you go into that place sometime and you take out all the goods and things and think that you could possibly end up in there and the treatment gives a whole new meaning to, or go see the place yourself, go up the hill, go see the place. Next one is a question. Mr. Bucco, you claim that we're not going to know a whole lot, but people are concerned over their safety. My question is, okay, so this lawsuit's filed, there's not a restraining order. Are they going to be up there doing work anyway? Right. And what's going to stop from it opening? And then the other thing, I don't care whether you are red or blue. I'm sure you don't like the price of gas right now or the other things that are going on. That should not be one side or the other. I'd love to see some of you guys at No Kings events on Saturday. They're all over nokings.org to find one in your area. Are you truly fighting against this concentration camp? Show up.
Thank you. I'm going to close public in about 15 minutes, so if anyone would like to get online, please get online.
And I want to say thank you. I am really excited that I want to say thank you to the mayor, to the council, to everyone in this room, because this is how democracy works. It's we the people bring it to our elected officials, the elected officials put it in writing and get a lawsuit in and start the wheels turning. So this is democracy. So thank you everyone here for putting in your efforts. Thank you for everyone here for taking it seriously and moving forward. I am very pleased with the beginnings of where this is going. And I'm really excited to see that we have something in motion. And please, all of us continue to work together. There's too many instances right now that we don't see democracy working. This is one of them. This is democracy in action working. So everyone, thank each other.
Name is Josue Pacheco. I'm a Stanhope resident, and I saw the
the announcement of the lawsuit last Friday, and I want to say thank you for putting this first roadblock. And an ICE spokesperson commented on the lawsuit, and I'm going to read their statement. And their statement said, "This case isn't about the environment. It's about trying to stop President Trump from making America safe again. The left didn't care about the mountains of litter that illegal aliens dropped on ranches and riverbeds during Biden's border crisis. They're feigning concern now because they want those same illegal aliens to stay forever and vote here." Now, those are not my words. I do not agree with those words. I think the language on that is pretty despicable. But I do agree with the very first sentence of that, and that's that this isn't about the environment. And my point is that this is about all the rest of the statement that came after that. It's about the racist, fear-mongering lie that our immigrant community are to blame for all of our problems today. That is a complete lie. And that is the basis of the justification of putting our immigrant community in these warehouses, treating them like cargo, treating them like inhumane. The very term illegals that they throw around in their official statements that you see on racist comment sections, it's dehumanizing. And using that term justifies all the horrible things that happen in ICE detention, like the raping of female detainees, like being driven to suicide, like I mentioned last week at the comment section. So yeah, that's what really it's all about here. Like, I care about the environment, I care about functioning water systems, but the real issue here is just the violent language around this community, and it's gotta stop. And who benefits out of all of this? Because it's not us, it's not the community who ICE is being deployed against. I don't know who really benefits, but I might want to ask Goldman Sachs and Daphne Industrial, who walked away with a ton of money. I want to point the finger at for-profit private business corporations that run Delaney Hall in Newark. I think those people have a more stake in the game in this cruel system than people who are just coming here to work. All these statistics are very clear. Like, you're more, like, crime is, like, not, U.S. citizens are, I'm sorry, I'm not a statistician, I don't have it on the top of my head, but undocumented immigrants are not what's making me unsafe. It's not what's making me pay more at the gas station. It's not what's driving home prices up. It's just a complete bold-faced lie. And when we use terms like illegal and dehumanize them, we unconsciously pave the way for all of this. So thank you for hearing me out.
Hi, Ann Gale, I live on Main Street in Port Morris. I 100% echo what the gentleman just ahead of me said. It is a matter of, these are human beings that we are proposing to put in this box. And I can't believe that we would even condone such a thing. And second is, it's the lights are on at night up there. I do know what they're doing, but the office lights are on. So there's somebody's doing something. I can see them every night I go out walking. And if anything were to happen to the sewer system, I live right downhill. So we all know where the stuff flows. And I love the Musconnect Canal. It is my baby river. And it goes far, and I was walking on it, and it's beautiful. But thinking about it, that it is not only our natural environment, it is our social environment, our spiritual environment, and the very soul of the town is at stake here. And I really think that if this facility goes through, there is going to be a stain on us for a very, very long time. And I applaud everyone for joining in with the lawsuit and all the work that has gone into supporting it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jenny Garcia. I live at 220 Franklin Avenue in Rockaway Township. First, I do want to thank the council for joining the lawsuit with the state of New Jersey. I want to thank Councilwoman Albright from the beginning for supporting people to understanding the humanitarian concerns of why it would be detrimental for this warehouse to open. So I greatly appreciate you for being on the council and being an advocate from the beginning. I would ask as the council starts to meet with big power players like the DEP, the DOJ, that they do invite experts like David Broderick, who has presented so many legal arguments, both to the council, both to the Attorney General's office, that has been the basis for a lot of the lawsuits that happen. I originally came here, Mayor, because you responded directly to the comments that I made to you. It wasn't my intention to misidentify you and your family, but I want to be clear that when I mentioned white, that the council was all white, I also mean whiteness, which is also when people are smug, when people feel as though their actions do not affect other people, whether it's inaction or action. So I do apologize if you felt misidentified. No, I meant no disrespect to your family, but it was also whiteness, which means smugness, which means, you know, sometimes y'all are up here and it feels like you guys think that like you're wasting your time. So again, I want to end by saying I thank the council for joining the lawsuit, and I hope that we continue to be in conversations that are important and deserve the public's knowledge. Thanks.
Thank you.
Josie Kegan, 90 Union Brick Road, Blairstown, New Jersey. At the start of the meeting, the mayor thanked the residents of Roxbury specifically. So I guess friends and neighbors are not getting a thank you or acknowledgement. This county issue, this North Jersey issue, this statewide issue, this national issue. I don't understand this dog with a bone attitude. Anyway, you're welcome.
Lauren Sang, Grosvenor Street in Roxbury. I also would like to see more to be done. The litigation that is happening right now is a good start, but let's do more. It seems like the other officials in New Jersey are stepping up for us, and yet our town council officials are not being at the forefront of this fight. I know you're working with them, but it doesn't feel like from the beginning that you guys have been really at the forefront of this. Thank you for getting independent counsel. And are you working with the zoning department to fight any work being done up there? Is that something that you guys are collaborating with? Is that something that we can have on the table as part of our strategy? Thank you, Councilwoman Albright, for speaking up and saying you did not want this to be your legacy. Speaking up helps us. And I will continue to do what I can, contact reps, attend this meeting, attend marches and rallies, and I hope you all take note and do better than us and work with those that want to fight harder. It's so much harder when we don't have each other to work with and we all fight together, and it makes it a lot easier for each party involved. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Deb Woodruff and I live in Succossona. I wanted to read a line in the joint announcement on the lawsuit. It says here that this partnership ensures comprehensive factual development, strong legal arguments, and a wide stakeholder engagement. And as a stakeholder, I'd like to ask the council to appoint a community liaison to give us updates. I don't agree with the town attorney that everything has to be secret. We are huge stakeholders in this matter, and I think there should be some regular communication. I personally am very upset with myself because I found out about this whole thing through social media, and I think something of this magnitude should have been coming from our township. So I will ask you, will you appoint a community liaison to keep us updated on what's happening within this legal lawsuit, and so that we can be informed, and we can help you too. There are so many people behind me that want to see this through and end it, and rather than fight with us, I think we should all come together, and it's the same cause, and that we can all help each other and win it. So will you give us a community liaison that we can work with versus having to find everything out on social media? Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd love you to answer it. Okay, thank you.
Matthew Vasallo, Wharton, New Jersey. First off, I want to thank you. Like everyone else, I really appreciate the steps that you're taking in terms of pursuing the lawsuit. It takes a lot of courage, and I respect that, and I want to, acknowledge that. Though, like some of the people behind me, I am still a little bit disappointed to hear that Mr. Rugo's law firm is still going to be involved in some of this. I know not last week, the previous week, one of the other members of our community brought up some issues that they felt were a conflict of interest, especially surrounding the ways that Mr. Rugo votes in the Senate. And so I personally am someone who likes to do my own research and find things out, and so I wanted to bring up some of the things that I saw that were kind of concerning and which I would like you to consider in terms of finding other legal representation. And so some of the bills proposed were S3522, also proposed a second time as A4070, the Privacy Protection Act, a bill which would have prohibited government and healthcare facilities from requesting and collecting data around individuals' immigrant status, citizenship, place of birth, social security number, and individual taxpayer number, with some minor exceptions. And when I looked, Senator Bucco had voted against S3522 twice and against A4070 once. Additionally, there's S3521/A4071, the Strengthening Trust Between Law Enforcement and Immigration Communities. This would have restricted local law enforcement from racially profiling individuals to enforce immigration policy, asking individuals about their immigration status unless relevant to an investigation, actively helping ICE agents with immigration, providing non-publicly available information to ICE, providing equipment to ICE, giving ICE access to detained individuals, or giving ICE information on when and where detainees were being released. Mr. Bucco voted against S3521 twice and against A4070 3 times. There was also S3216, Transparency in Federal Law Enforcement Activities, which would require the following of all ICE agents: removing masks and having their names and agency names identified clearly, verbally stating their name and agency upon request, and restricting law enforcement from interacting with ICE agents if they are not following those above rules. Mr. Bucco voted against this as well. Lastly, S3114, Law Enforcement Officer Protection Act, which would require all law enforcement, including federal agents and including ICE officers, to remove their face coverings and show proper identification. Mr. Bucco voted against this 3 times. And so, with that shown, I think there's a clear conflict of interest, and how can we trust him to fight against, or his law firm to fight for this when clearly it's not something he believes in. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Zoe Best. I am in Stanhope. I look directly at the warehouse from my house. I'm last, so I'll keep it short. I am really tired myself. But I was deployed in Newark Airport this week, and it's only making tensions there worse. We need to keep this momentum and use the governor's support and this lawsuit as fuel and not as permission to slow down. Thank you.
Do we have an executive tonight?
No.
Ooh.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you, everyone.